Chain smoke your problems away. Smoke Pit Fairy Tales Part 4, Chapter 4, Double Dragon. Thatch lay in his rack with his stomach in a knot. He was fine that morning when he woke up, but over the day his insides twisted and screwed. He wasn't quite nauseous, but his belly felt like it was full of knives. He decided that if it didn't feel better by the morning, he'd have Stockton drag him to medical. Chuck kneeled down to the bottom rack and pulled the curtain back enough to see Thatch's face.
You alright down there, buddy?
Thatch forced his eyes open.
I have a demon in my guts.
Chuck was sympathetic.
Yeah, I had the same shit the other day. It sucks, but it goes by quick.
You're fucking patient zero.
Yeah. You need anything?
Thatch tried to shake out the headache that just started to rear its ugly face.
Maybe a soda.
Chuck patted Thatch's shoulder.
I'll get you something, buddy.
He closed the curtain and headed out to find a vending machine. Thatch managed to fall asleep. It gave a brief respite from the agony. When his body decided to wake him up, he was buckled in pain. He thought,
Screw it, I'm going to medical now.
He rolled out of his rack and tried to make it to his feet, but could only manage to hobble forward. The knot in his stomach twisted and he abandoned the walk to sickbay in favor of finding the head. He dragged himself past the rows of sinks to the back where the stalls were. He didn't make it in. Thatch pushed himself up against the bulkhead and bent over. He could hear the other Marines around him going through the same trouble he was. The knot tightened a bit more. He couldn't handle it. He tried to vomit, but nothing came up but a bit of spittle. He yacked a few more times to no avail. Thatch felt the pressure building in his gut. He ripped off his shorts and bolted to a toilet. His ass started acting like a fire hose. Thick streams of chunky water fired into the fluid below. Somehow it didn't make him feel any better. He rested his head on a partition and sobbed. Tension built in his chest and forced its way up so fast that he almost choked. It caught him in the middle of a breath. He shot hot brown fluid from his mouth all over the sides of the wall. The monster inside him didn't relent, nor did it show mercy. A loud crash shook the ship. The head turned black for a moment before the emergency lights flickered on. Thatch began to float off the toilet. He tried to scream.
No!
But the only thing to leave his mouth was more vomit. The 1MC screamed.
Engineering casualty in compartment 6-1 Alpha. Provide repair from repair locker 16.
Thatch floated up and spun in the direction his ejection sent him. Over the stalls, he noticed other Marines in no better of a situation than he. The smell was horrific. He deplored himself as much as he abhorred the predicament. They all hung over the head, too weak from the sickness to swim to the floor. Most just curled up into a ball and tried to ride the literal shitstorm. After what seemed like an eternity in hell, the main lights illuminated. Thatch squeezed his eyes open, then plummeted to the deck. He heard his head hit the floor before he felt it. Then, all the filth floating in the air splattered to the ground. Everyone groaned. Thatch was just alright enough to look around. Everything was coated brown. The deck, the bulkheads, the roof, the stalls, the Marines. Lance Corporal Varoon from Yorick's squad moaned on the floor, clenching her arm. Thatch crawled over to her.
You good, Varoon?
She coughed and wept.
I think my arm's broke, Sergeant.
She spat up another pint of bile. Thatch looked at her arm. Bone wasn't protruding, but something was definitely wrong. She was wearing her green PT shorts and shirt, but it was all stained with excrement and spew.
All right, come on.
Thatch helped her get to her feet and started pulling her to the shower, being extremely careful not to slip on the floor.
Gorman!
Thatch got Varoon around the corner to the showers and helped her take off her clothes. He sat her down and turned on the water. He kicked her soiled clothes to the side and sat down outside the shower stalls. Doc Christchurch stumbled into the head. Both her eyes were newly blackened and her nose was bleeding.
I heard Corman.
She looked at Thatch with disgust growing on her face. The stench of the room caught up to her. She pulled her shirt up over her nose and coughed in an effort not to hurl.
You are covered in shit.
Thatch ignored her and pointed his thumb to the shower.
Varoon broke her arm. I stuck her in the shower to clean her up a bit.
Christchurch nodded and pulled the curtain open.
You all right, Varoon?
Varoon shook her head.
No.
Stay here.
Christchurch left the head and returned with a towel and a set of slippers. She pulled Varoon to her feet, made her put on the shoes, and wrapped her in the towel. She looked down at Thatch.
You get cleaned up too.
No, I was just gonna lay around in everyone's shit.
He gave her an indignant look. Christchurch rolled her eyes and took Varoon to the medical bay. Thatch crawled in the shower. He cleaned himself the best he could and went to sleep with the water pouring on him, only waking when Duke kicked his feet.
Wake up!
Thatch groaned and looked up.
Hey, Staff Sergeant.
Duke turned off the water.
What happened?
Fuse blew and the engine for the gravity cylinder took a shit.
Thatch propped himself up and looked around the head.
Varoon broke her arm. Christchurch took her to medical.
Yeah, a lot of people are fucked up.
Duke extended his hand down to Thatch and helped him to his feet.
Did we hit something?
Nope, ship's a machine, machines break. Go put something on, help me unfuck this shit.
Thatch nodded and headed to his rack. Most of the Marines seemed fine besides minor bangs and bruises. He threw away his shorts and shirt and put on his trousers and a pair of boots, then grabbed a few Marines on his way back to the head. They spent the next 4 hours cleaning the shit off the walls and ceiling around those who were still ill.
Hey peeps, what up? How you doing today? Thanks for listening to another chapter. So what are we on? The Double Dragon. All right, we're gonna make this part quick because there's a lot of post credits in this one. Chuck's got an interesting story to tell you in the bloopers. But anyway, I'd like to thank the cast: Chuck LaVoki, as the narrator, Eric Pickle as Duke, Andrew Stockton as Chuck, Azalandra Danstar. She played Varoon, but she also played Jenny in the third book, and then Nix Damon playing Christchurch. And Nix is another one of my writer friends. Newcomer to the audiobooks. I found her when she wrote her book, Moira. I guess technically this is an urban fantasy, is the category it would be under, I guess. Like, there's pirates and werewolves and all that, except for, it's not lame. It's good. I enjoyed this. Her second one's coming out soon. If you're looking for something to flip the pages on, go check it out. It's a fun read. Also, my battery's about dead. Shit, I gotta change batteries. Hold on. Alright, is the battery undead? Are we zombieing this now? I think we're back. Anyway, what'd I do? I already did the credits. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, I think for the next couple of videos, I'm gonna try a thing with the thumbnails. See if that has anything to do or influences viewership in any way, shape, or form, because the first chapter of this balls out. The first chapter, chapter 4, it had a picture of Stockton on it, and I used most of these are AI images. Some of them are my illustrations. I mean, the thumbnails for the videos. But anyway, if you give these videos a couple weeks, they usually end up hanging out around between 100 and 300, views, depending on where you're at. But chapter 1 of book 4, the one that had the thumbnail of Stockton, with her white t-shirt, that had like as of now, that's got like 1,100 views. So, I'm gonna see if that has influence on, I guess, people clicking and watching it, try to get more people into the story. So that's what's up with that. I guess that it would have been Varoon or maybe Christchurch in the thumbnail for this one, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna try to get this up. It's Monday morning. I'm gonna try to have this up today. I mean, granted, it won't be like, I guess, public for everyone until Wednesday, but people that are members of the YouTube channel, which I think right now is just ASAP, gets to watch it as soon as I upload it. Then again, also thank you to the Patreon people who get these chapters as I get done editing them. I'm working on chapter 19 of this book right now. And thank you to everyone who's gotten a war chest. And the war chest is the box set of these books. Well, I guess there's 2. There's a war chest and a war chest mark 2. First 6 books, second 6 books. Anyway, that's on the site. And if you get it, I put a pin in the map up here for you, but we'll get that. I got a box to make this week. There'll be a video next week for that. All right, anyway, let's look at some comments. Doc Whiskey, damn, this is like taking steroids and Viagra. I misread that and thought it said this is like taking steroids on Viagra, but like not you're on Viagra and then you take steroids, but the steroids themselves are being taken by the Viagra itself and then you're popping that. Is that a gas station boner pill? War Smith, tuned in for some chill and got some musical instead. Awesome. Get well soon. Keep it up. Listen to the Doom 2016 OST, maybe put it into the old school Doom games and tear the demons a new one. Thank you. I am feeling, for the most part, better. Still a little snotty, but I don't know if that's just like the weather changing, because it was like 60 2 or 3 days ago and it's back up to 80 now, so that might just be congestion on that. But yeah, and then yeah, no, these books have music in it. Back when I was originally writing this 4th one, I was thinking, all right, cool, I got the books, I got the art and the illustration on it. These characters should write music too. Also, when I wrote this, I was stationed in 29 Palms. There was a lot of playing guitar by the fire pit at night, drinking too much. And a lot of this book is chronicling my 2016. And I guess my first Mew, yeah. Ship life, yay. Which, speaking of that, stay tuned in for the credits, because Chuck's got something to talk about. But this chapter almost verbatim happened, except for, we weren't in 0G. But yeah, good times. Anyway, yeah, fucking been playing Doom too. Kicking ass, loving it. Love the music. My initial thought was, what is this? Spaceballs the musical. Secondly, so many multilingual characters. Next time they register for online space classes, they should think about learning to speak Groot. It's an elective. P.S. Reminder, when your voice feeling better, sleep paralysis. Okay, yes, on the music already, yep, and there's gonna be more, so stay tuned. The thing with the multilingual characters, I did that to the organization that these characters are in, like on purpose as a thing, for a couple different reasons. One of them I'm not gonna go too far into right now because the story will just tell you later. But while these guys are Marine Corps infantry, these characters, there is also an army on Mars, although it's not talked about like a whole bunch English yet, but it's kind of set up to where like pretty much anybody can get into the army. But that'll get explained later. Not a big spoiler or anything, just like a hey, here's where we're going. But as far as the characters being multilingual, that was kind of inspired by like, you know, 2 different directions. One of them is special forces type dudes all have to, I mean, not all of them, but like a lot of them, like in our army in real life, has to be multilingual because, you know, they get sent to different places and have to learn different shit, which kind of inspired that. But then the second part of that, though, is like astronauts in real life have to be able to speak English and Russian. But I figured, you know, at this point in time where they are at in, I guess, space in the story, you know, after, you know, the Earth got schwacked or whatever, there might be an option for that to where like you're learning English and Chinese or Russian and Chinese. I mean, because, you know, if they're boarding a ship and, you know, they gotta like run around and, you know, figure out where they're going. It's not like, you know, landing on like land in real life and then you just go whatever way because, you know, it's dirt forever. Like if you're in space, you're, you know, doing ship to ship type stuff. Like you can't just sit around and wait for the guy to show up and be like, yeah, no, this sign says this. You want guys that are organic to the team or the unit that can decipher that information for you. Or at least that was my train of thought when doing that. But yeah, also sleep paralysis demons. Fucking, that shit ain't no joke. I'm not going to go too far into it right now just because, well, I did a thing on wartime stories. Like I had like half my own episode for that. But yeah, that shit's a bitch. And that's one of those interesting questions about, you know, what's going on, you know, in our lives. Because it is inarguable that the phenomenon of ghosts are real. Like, ghosts are real. I will not be accepting any argument at that point. Now, whether or not ghosts are spirits of the dead, the ethereal realm, or like figments of our imagination, like there's just like some crosswire in every human's brain that makes us, you know, hallucinate and see these things, and they're not physically or, you know, spiritually real. It's all just a hallucination. We're hallucinating when we see them. The phenomenon of seeing ghosts or, you know, paranormal entities is a real thing. And you can argue until you're blue in the face of what, you know, what they are. But, you know, it's there. And I would like to go into more of a long form thing with that at some point. But I would like to wait till we're a little further along in the story so that I can reference things that happen in the story, you know, without spoilers or anything. So I guess spoiler alert, there's ghosts, but you know, there's been ghosts. I think that so far in the tale, I've been good about making it ambiguous to the reader on whether or not, say, Hank saw ghosts, or if that was just, you know, him having nightmares. So are they real? Are they really real? Are they really there? Are they spirits coming from the other side of the realm to poke at us? Or is it figments of Hank's imagination? I mean, up through the first 3 books, that was left up to you to decide. And then we'll see how, if Thatch deals with that kind of situation too. All right, next, John Blanton made my day. My day is made. Glad to make you smile, buddy. John, also, I know that song will be stuck in my head all night. Yes, good. What song was that? Was that Go to Hell? Go to Texas? Excuse me, there's more coming up. The chapter I just uploaded to Patreon yesterday, I think. Sunday, it would be your Sunday. That had a pretty decent song in it. I still gotta write a few more. It's not that I have to write them. I wrote them when I wrote the book. Like, the sheet music is in the back of the physical book, but I re-recorded it. That's what we're gonna say with that, because these songs, when the books came out, I recorded them and put them on what iTunes or Spotify or whatever, and I didn't know how to do any type of music recording at that point, and I think it's fucking god-awful. So I guess doing the audiobooks is a good way of retuning all that. Is the word I'm going to go with. I'm not sure. I know that at some point I will put these songs up on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. That I'm working on now for like I guess like the revamp of them. But I don't know if I'm going to do it at the end of the book or each book once they're up, or if I'm going to wait till the series is over and just be like, hey, here's the whole fucking shebang. We'll see. I will upload them just straight to fucking Patreon though, so, you know, Patreon people can download them. YouTube might have to wait a bit, or fucking maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And that's it. Okay. All right. Sweet. So I'm gonna get rolling. Here's some bloopers and a little story from Chuck. I will catch y'all around, and you have a good one. All right. I'm forgetting fucking something, but we'll figure it out. All right. Bye.
Testing. Testing. Testing.
We hit the R button. Ah, I lived this chapter. I was patient 0 for what was probably actually food poisoning from crab legs. It's the thing, if the Navy ever gives you a fucking feast of king crab legs, it's too good to be true. It's because they were all about to go bad. They probably already fucking have. Don't fucking eat that shit. Oh my god. They were like, hey, you know what? Those were probably for the officers, and then they went bad. They're like, we can't serve these to the brass. And they gave them to us. We were never meant to get the king crab leg, let's be real. Shit, I think they were jumbo crab legs, actually. They were huge. Like, it was one of the best days of my life, followed by one of the worst 2 days of my life. Like, 2 of the worst days of my life. That's how you construct that sentence. I read books written by Trip. All right. Just kidding. You're a fantastic writer. I love you. Chapter 4 and Chapter 3 start out exactly the same, except it's Thatch laying in his rack instead of Stockton. Do all these chapters start out with somebody laying in their rack? It's funny. It's like we spent a lot of time doing that. Well, I never actually laid in my rack. I lied in my rack. Like a grammatically correct human. That one's really tough. And dating apps, people are like, do you use there correctly? And I just want to hit him back with like, do you know how to use like lay, laid, lane, lays, lies, like lying? Like, yeah, no, you're right. No, I was thinking, I'm like, because if you do, like, write me an essay on it and try to put it in a concise enough manner for humans to understand. Because I thought I had a really, you're right. English is just literally exceptional when it comes to the rules. Now, I thought I understood that rule, and I ran into a case where I just literally couldn't understand. I'm just like, I don't know how to use these fucking words. Like, just, all right, we'll just throw one of them in there. Like, it's such a, I fucking hate English sometimes. It's a fun language. It's good. No, nobody cares. No. Listen, we all get laid and we like it, but nobody gets laid. Like, we don't get it. It's fine. All right. The chapter's starting at like 100 measures in. I'm sorry about that. I've been recording this whole time. All right. Okay, well, you can use whatever you want. It's your book. This is your party. You can cry if you want to. Or shit your pants if you got to. Chuckled a bit. Yeah. Chuck chuckled. Chuck chuckled a lot. He's a chuckle fuck. That's floated up and spun in the direction his... That wasn't even a mistake. I just couldn't believe what I was about to read. Oh, man. It's a new definition of projectile vomiting. It's a thrust system. Oh man, vomiting in 0G. Oh, I love it. It's so sexy. All right, serious face. Then all the filth. Oh no. God, Buddha, Satan, anybody. Tom Cruise, deliver me from my sins. Deliver me from this evil. There's shit on the ceiling. Hi, Mel. Hi. Oh, it's going really well. How are you? I just read some real poetry written by your husband, and I gotta say, I'm gonna read this to my kids someday, like out loud in their beds. Hush, my baby. Yeah. Does this make you want to join up, son? No? Lesson learned. Especially not the Navy. Don't join the Navy. Kids, don't join the Navy. All right, where are we at? Thatch got Varoon, right? He threw away his shorts and shirt and put on the last fucking paragraph! Oh, man, that's it's fucking disgusting. I'm disgusted with you right now. You're a disgusting man. I can't believe you wrote this filth! Yeah, no, seriously. Having the gravity go out in the middle of that chapter just, like, gave me fucking nightmares. Like, holy shit. Like, oh my god. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna, like, really briefly summarize this before I finish recording. I got the food poisoning probably from the crab legs. Unconfirmed. Navy never owned up to it. They were just like, everyone's sick for some reason. It's not spreading, though. Yeah. Just everyone got sick all at once, and then nobody else got it. It was a quote-unquote outbreak that was immediately perfectly contained. I think we all know now that that doesn't really work. I'm sorry. Nothing as contagious as norovirus or anything of the like can be like, oh man, the way that would run through a whole vessel, holy shit. It would just be devastating. Yeah, I woke up having shat my shorts. I went to the head, I wrapped them in a trash bag, I threw them away, and I took a bit longer than a naval shower, and I got barked at by some fucking petty officer, some class. I don't know. I never really looked at the guy, and he was like, hey, Marine, I've been standing here for a while, and you've been in there. I'm like, I shit my pants, and he's just like, I'll leave you be. I was like, I shit my pants. I'll leave you be. Like, what are you gonna do? I could be masturbating there for all you know, but like, he's not gonna come check. Especially not that. No. I was just the canary though. Like, as soon as I started to feel better, everybody else dropped dead. I woke up from my 2-day nap, and I'm like, where'd everyone else go? They're like, oh, everyone else is in quarantine because they all got sick at once, but you got forgotten about because you were already dead. I'm like, ah! Yeah, no, good times. Good times. All right, I'm gonna cease recording on this one now. Holler at you. Click. Ah, it was a wrong click.